Welcome to GED Math in 30 Minutes. In these tutorials, I will show you how to solve many of the GED math problems using the TI-30XS scientific calculator.
There we go. Yeah, because Facebook went down, so it's probably not going to be a whole lot of new people. I couldn't send out only emails I sent out were the emails for the people that have already been coming. I couldn't put it on Facebook. Couldn't put it on Instagram. So there's nothing I can do. So, but y'all not worried about that. That's me. So first of all, any types of problems that you went over that you had issues with this week. I know Jessica, you've been practicing. Gary, you've been practicing. Are there any specific questions that you had issues with?
I have one. How to clear the memory for the TI-30XS? How to clear it?
Okay. So if you look down here, it says reset in green. See that?
Right.
So if you hit second and hit 0 and hit yes, it'll reset and clear everything out your calculator.
Okay.
So second and 0. Okay. All right. So any questions or any Gary, who are you? Let's see. There you go, right there. All right. So let's see what we got here. View attempts right here. Okay, so yeah, we want to improve that score. So Gary, half would be like 220. So if you got the ones right, then you would have been right close to that number. So we want to make sure. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna show you a score, but I'm gonna show the ones you had problems with. Let's see if make sure anybody else didn't have these same problems. So real quick.
Yeah, I have one. Question 19.
19. How about this one here? So
yeah,
it's showing you the answer. Let me do this.
It showed me, what I did wrong on that one.
Okay. So number 19, what did it say? What problem was that?
The average width of a human hair is 8 times 10 to you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I picked that one specifically because they asked that type of problem on the science exam. So a lot of these, even though they're math, some of them came from the science exam. Where is it? Let me bring this down a little bit. Here we go, right there. All right, so let me increase this right here. Let me see if I can preview this. That was number human hair. There we go, right there. So let's preview it. That's fine. Start a new attempt. Of course, this is not a new attempt for me because I'm the teacher, but that's what I didn't want to do. I wanted to be able to go to the problem. But if you notice, this has a time limit, 120 minutes. So the difference, if anybody's interested in taking the ones with feedback, after you get it incorrectly, it explains to you how to do it. Okay. So I don't really want to time it. Let's just go to the question. So it was, there we go, number 4. The average width of a human hair is 8 by 10 to the negative 4th. Will be the width in meter of 20 average human hairs lined up in a row. Can anybody explain to me, first of all, human hairs, 8 times 10 to the 4th? Oh my God, that just sounds hard. This is actually one of the easiest problems on your exam. Does anybody know how they would start that type of problem? The average width of a human hair is 8 times 10 to the negative 4th meters. What would be the width in meters of 20 average human hairs lined up in a row? How would you even start a problem like that? Can anybody help me?
I know they talk about average, which is
so that's what and that's where they want you to make the mistake at. Because so they throw in that word average. So most people, what they do is they try to start doing some type of average. But remember, average is when you add them all up and divide by how many there are. But there is none. right?
Right.
So what they're saying is this is what you do. This is a strategy that I usually show my students. Watch this. I'm gonna change it, and I'm just gonna say 8. I'm gonna use a whole number. Watch this. The average width of a human hair is 8 meters. Now, of course, you know it's not 24 feet, but I'm using whole numbers so you understand what you need to do. What will be the width in meters of 20 of them? So what am I going to do? What operation am I going to do? If one of them is 8 and I need to know the width of 20 of them, what operation am I going to use?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. So you change it to a whole number just to make the problem easier so you know what operation to use. But then what you do is you use your calculator. You can everything that you can do. Let me, where can I put it? Okay, I'll put it right here. Watch this. You don't have to worry about all that congestive things that with these word problems and the computation. Listen, by changing that to a whole number, you realize it's multiplication. So then you just do 8 times 10 to the negative 4 times 20, right? So you get your answer, which is 0.016. Now, I don't know, this would probably be multiple choice, so they're either gonna have it as a decimal or they're gonna have it in scientific notation, right? But say you didn't know how to do scientific notation. So first of all, I'm gonna show you how to do it. In order to change this number to scientific notation, can anybody tell me how I would change 0.016 to scientific notation? Can anybody tell me how to do that? It's a very important thing for math and science. Say that again. How would you change? How do you convert 0.016 to scientific notation? Okay, so if you don't know, what I can tell you is this is a skill that you're gonna need for your math, your science, and possibly your social studies. Okay, in order to change a decimal into a scientific notation, what you want to do is you want to move the decimal point until you only have a digit in the ones place. For example, right now, we don't have any digits in the ones place. We had a 0's in the tenths place, a 1 is in the hundreds place, and a 6 is in the thousands place. So in order to change this to scientific notation, what we're going to do is we're going to take it 1, 2. So now we have a 1 in the ones place. So this is 1.6. And since we move the decimal to the right, it's 10 times negative 2. So that will be your answer in scientific notation. But guess what? Listen, how many times do you use scientific notation in real life? In the last 10 years, I don't think, besides GD math, I don't think I've ever used it myself. So guess what? I show you how to do it in the ebook, and I'm gonna show you how to do it here. Watch this. You got your 0.016, you go to mode. You go down to the second row, you see normal, SCI, which stands for scientific. E and G stands for engineering. For right now, we're gonna use it for our purposes. We're gonna change it to scientific notation. We're gonna press enter. We wanna get out of this menu, so we're gonna quit. So we're gonna hit second in mode, and we're gonna press enter. 1.6 times 10 to the negative 2. It does the scientific notation for you. So I got a whole section in the ebook that tells you how to do problems in scientific notation. Now, will you have it in math? You might have one. You're definitely going to be on science, definitely in social studies. 1.6 times 10 to the negative 2. All right. You have to know scientific notation. You have to. So 1.6 times 10 to the negative 2 or 0.016 would be either one of those answers are equivalent. They're the same thing. Okay. So that's how you would do that. Let me clear that. Any other questions, or do you want to just, as we're doing this evening, most people are preparing for the exam. Would you just want to do practice problems? And I give you a couple minutes for each one, and then we go over them, because we have now finished all the concepts we need for the GED. We did linear equation, we did quadratic equation, we did system of equations. So we've now completed all the concepts on the GED. Okay, so let's look at number 6. So I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to do number 6. And what we're gonna do is, this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna go down this list. If you haven't logged into my Schoology site, the free website for math, for your GED math, this is some of the things and some of the questions you'll see. So let's start with number 6. And when you find the answer, I want you to send me the answer in your chat. If you're new this evening, please send your email in the chat. Please put your email in the chat. And please, if you can, change your name. Someone just joined us, 686726. Hit those 3 arrows and rename yourself with your name. I would greatly appreciate it. So right now we're working on number 6.
Why is my shit?
So sorry, 686726. I had to mute you. You had that music in the background a little bit too loud for us. So we're working on number 6. Tony is building a border around his rectangular garden and needs to know the length of a fence to purchase. The patio is 14 feet long and 12 feet wide. Was the perimeter of this patio border? Or they could say, instead of using that word perimeter, what is the length of fence needed? So I'm only going to give this question, I think is fairly easy. I'm only going to give you 1.5 minutes. This question should be fairly easy. If it's not, then that tells you need to work on perimeter and area problems. So you got about 1 minute left. Jessica, I have your answer. That is correct. Very good. Very good. So we're waiting for Darlene, Gary, Jennifer, and 686726, the person who just joined us. What is your name? Okay. There you go. What's your name?
Naomi, it's me, Mr. Jeff.
Who is it?
Naomi.
Okay, how you doing? I'm going to change your name in here right now. There we go. There you go. Did I spell your name correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So right now we're working on number 6. What we're going to do is we're just going to walk through practice problems just to make sure we know how to do it. Number 6, and we have about 30 seconds left. Gary, you are correct. Okay, time is up. What's key in this question for you to get this right? Now, again, I only gave you 1 minute and 30 seconds because I believe this is a question you should be able to answer very quickly. Okay, what's important in number 6?
What is the perimeter?
What is the perimeter? That's the question, what they want to know. But what else is important?
Knowing the formula of the perimeter of a rectangle.
And what is the formula to find the perimeter?
2 times length plus 2 times width.
Okay, what else do we know?
We know the length and the width. We know 14 and we know 12.
We know 14 feet long and 12 feet wide. So all we're going to do is substitute that in the formula. Now, to me, look, I love using my calculator. So guess what? I'm going to use my calculator. Okay, so I'm going to say 2 times L. So 2 times 14 plus the width was 12 plus 2 times 12. That way, you don't have to write it down. long as you know that formula and you know what the length and width are, you can plug them in. And look, it's still in scientific notation, so I got to change it back to normal. There we go, 52. But look at that. Using your formula sheet and let the calculator do a lot of the work for you. Very good. So 52 is the correct answer. Very good. All right, so let me move the calculator out the way. Let's look at number 7. Number 7. Mary has 3 white, 8 black, 5 green, and 4 blue scarves in her drawer. If she randomly selects a scarf from the drawer, what is the probability that it is not green? I know, Naomi, I see the smoke coming from your head reading that question. I see it, I see it. Listen, all these questions, I'm gonna show you, well, they might seem difficult, but I'm gonna show you that the difficulty is, a lot of it is your perception of the question. I'm gonna show you that this is also an easy question. So this, I'm gonna give 2 minutes. Mary has 3 white, 8 black, 5 green, and 4 blue scarves in her drawer. If she randomly selects a scarf from the drawer, what is the probability that it is not green? Wow. I know your heads are spinning. I see the smoke. I can see it through the Zoom session. And you can send me your answer in the chat. Jessica, let's see. I have no idea what it is. Let me see.
Oh, I can't even.
Very good. That is correct. Jessica, that is correct. Very good, very good. A lot of people get this wrong. Darlene, that is incorrect. And Jennifer, don't be shy. If you have any questions on anything, if you don't understand something, make sure you let me know. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Again, these are questions that a lot of people get incorrect on the exam. And I'm gonna show you how easy this question is. Okay, we got about 30 seconds left.
I don't understand it.
Get my pen. Let me change it to red. Okay, got about 15 seconds left. Okay, so only one person sent me that. 2 people sent me the answer. One was correct, one was incorrect. So now I want to make sure I go with it. When you see the word probability, what does probability mean? What does probability mean?
Maybe.
Say it again.
The chances?
Yes, the chance of something happening. All right. So that's, first of all, you got to know the definition. It's the chance of something happening, right? Okay, so that's the first thing. Got to understand what probability is. Now, the formula for probability is very easy, okay? Probability is equal to the selected outcomes. And what selected means is what you're looking for over the total outcomes, right? So what we want to know is the probability of not green. So what that's telling us, because what we're looking for is the selected outcomes, how many are not green? How many of the scarves are not green?
15.
15. So you were right with that. And that, Sis Darlene. So you got the 15 right. But remember, probability is a ratio or it's a fraction. So it's 15. And how many total scarves are there?
20.
20.
20.
So you can reduce it to lowest terms. 5 going to 15 3 times. 5 going to 20 4 times. So Jessica, that's the answer that you sent me was 3/4, which was correct. But this is what I want you to understand. This 3/4 is very important. They can ask you what the probability is. They can have a fraction, a decimal, or percent. So you got to know 3/4 is 0.75. You have to know 0.75 is 75%. You also have to know 3/4 as a fraction is the ratio 3 to 4 or 3:4. A lot of times on the GED exam, they'll ask you for probability, but sometimes they'll ask you for the fraction. Sometimes they'll ask you for the decimal. Sometimes they'll ask you for the percent, and sometimes they ask you for the ratio. So, very easy. Ratio is easy, it's just your fraction. 3/4 is 3 out of 4. On the calculator, it's even easier. So let me clear it, and let me show you on the calculator how we would do this problem. Okay, selected outcomes was 15. So we're gonna hit ND because we want a fraction. 15. Our total outcomes or the total amount of scars are 20. We're gonna hit the double arrow to change it to a decimal. 0.75. If we wanted to change it, have a fraction, we get the double arrows again. 3/4. If we wanted to change it to a percent, we're gonna hit second and hit this arrow percentage, and it'll change it to a percentage for us. So just know that probability is selected outcomes divided by total outcomes. So for example, let's look at number 6. If I want to know, let's real quick, make sure so if I want to know the probability of white, the probability of black, the probability of green, and the probability that I will pick a blue, what will be the probability that I will pick a white?
3.
3
20.
3 over 20. Remember, it's what you're looking for. 3 whites over the total number of scars, 3 over 20. So 3/20 could be 0.15 or 15%. So the probability of you sticking your hand in there and picking out a white scarf from that drawer is 15% or 3 out of 20. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
What will be the probability to pick a black?
8 over 20.
8 over 20, which is 0.4, which is 40%. What's the probability of picking a green?
5.
5 over
20.
20, which is 1/4, which is 0.25, which is 25%. And what's the probability? Now I'm gonna change this last one up a little bit. I'm gonna throw, what's the probability of picking a blue or a black? What's the probability of picking a blue or black?
13 over 20.
13 over 20. Why? Because how many blue or black stars are there? 13. How many is total? 20. And that's 65% or 0.65 or 65%. They're only going to ask you 1 or 2 probability questions. That's a simple probability question, very easy. Got to be prepared for 1 or 2 probabilities. So now, what was that?
Mr.
Yes.
Tiz, for your blue and black, what you're doing, you're just adding them up?
You're adding the black, you're adding the blue. So 8 plus 5, I mean 8 plus 4 is, oh, I'm sorry. Look, I made, look, see, not 13. See. Everybody, 8 plus 4 is black and blue.
12.
So that's 60% or 0.60 and 60%. See? Good. Now, that's simple probability. Number 8 is what's called compound probability. So this is simple probability. And how do you know the difference between simple probability, and compound probability. Simple probability is one event, one thing happening. Compound probability is more than one event. Right? So number 8 is an example of compound probability. A fair coin is tossed how many times?
3.
3 times. What is the probability of getting tails all 3 times? Okay, so what is the probability of getting a tails? If you flip a coin, what is the probability of getting the tails?
1.
1 over
2.
2.
Oh, 2.
Who says 6?
Jennifer.
Okay, 6 is if you're talking about dice. So what happened was you remembered the common examples that the GED used. They love using dice. So you always see that 6 number. That's where that came from. So you always have to remember selected outcomes. How many ways can you get a tails? One way you can get a tails. How many total options do you have when you flip a coin? You have heads and tails. So that's 2. That's where the 1 out of 2 comes from. Understand?
Okay.
Okay, so now, so the probability of flipping the tails is 1/2. So the first flip, the second flip, the third flip. So 1/2, 1/2, 1/2. 3 different times we flip that coin. With compound probability, you're going to multiply the simple probabilities together. So 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 is what?
1.5.
1 over what?
6.
Nope. What's 2 times 2 times 2?
8.
8. So 1/8 or 0.125 or 12.5%. So the 2 things I want you to take away: simple probability, selected outcomes over total outcomes. Very easy. Very easy. If you get one of those, you should laugh all the way to the bank. The difference is be careful, because sometimes they'll ask for the answer as a percent. Sometimes they ask for a decimal. Sometimes they ask for a fraction. Sometimes they ask for a ratio. So you got to be prepared and know how to do them. Now, for compound probability is more than one event. So you find a simple probability of each event, and then you multiply them together. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Let me say that. Let me clear it. Let's go to number 9. Now, number 9, if you know how to use the calculator, should take you less than 10 seconds. If you do not know how to do this on the calculator, it'll take you about 1.5 minutes. So I'm going to give you 1.5 minutes to do number 9, and then we're going to go over. Simplify the square root of 18 times the square root of 8. Now you can't really send that in the chat because you can't really put the square root symbol. So we'll just go over it at when 1.5 minutes is over. So you wrote, Gary, you sent that answer. I don't even know what it is. Let me see. You're right. Yep, you're right. Good job, sir. Good job. Good job. Okay. So Jessica and Gary both answered it correctly. Jennifer, Darlene, and Naomi. Do you know how to do this problem? Okay, so first of all, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to do it in the calculator. And the reason why I'm gonna show you, because I don't want to.
But I'm very slow.
Okay,
I
well,
just don't move fast.
so what you want to do is you want to make sure you practice. And just like I tell you to practice at least like 30 minutes to an hour a day in your math. Well, if you practice every day with your math, practice every day with that calculator. Because why? This is a 10-second problem. And I'm going to show you how to do it in the calculator, but I'm also going to show you how to do it manually. Okay, for this square root symbol is right here, right above x squared. So you're going to hit second, you're going to hit x squared, then you're going to enter your 18.
Okay,
The
hold on.
mistake that people make is you got to hit that right arrow to get out of the square root. Now, if you want to put it just like that, we're going to hit the multiplication symbol, second, square root, and we're going to hit the 8. Get out of your square root symbol, press enter. Done.
Hey,
That easy.
I ain't
And
doing it.
And I know it's like, wow, that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you take the time, a lot of these harder problems that would take you 3, 4, and 5 minutes to do, if you know how to do them on a calculator, you can do them much faster. So now I'm gonna do it by hand. It's a little longer, but I gotta understand radicals. Okay, so what we're going to do is you got to know your squares. So 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. I'm only going to go up to 5 squared for this problem right here. You have to know your squares. How many times have you heard that from me? You have to know your square roots, cube, and your cube roots. You should know them by heart. If you don't, practice on them. Okay, so now, how can I break down 18? So I'm going to find the highest square that goes into 18. So 1 times 18, 4 doesn't go into 18, 9 goes into 18. So square root of 18 is the square root of 9 times the square root of 2. Because 9 times 2 is 18.
18.
We're going to do the same thing for square root of 8. Well, 1 times 8, and then 4 times 2. So square root of 4 times the square root of 2. The square root of 9, you should know all your squares because the opposite inverse operation, the square root of 9 is 3 times the square root of 2. The square root of 4 is 2 times the square root of 2. So watch what we do. We're going to do like terms. So 3 times 2 is 6. Now, because we can combine these, watch this. So because we're multiplying, 3 times 2 is 6. And then the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the same as square root of 2 squared. Well, what did I tell you about square and square roots? They're inverse operations, so they cancel each other out. So the square root, and this is one of the first 5 questions. You have to know that. So the square root of 2 squared is just 2. So 6 times 2 is 12. That took a whole lot of work for what we did in like 5 seconds. Practice and know your squares, square roots, cube, and your cube roots. Now this becomes an easy problem. You just type it directly into your calculator. They usually give you one of those on each GED exam where you have to either simplify a radical or, and that's usually one of your first 5. Whatever it is, just type it in your calculator. Because it's usually, it's not one of your first 5. Now, the square, square root, cube, and cube roots are one of your first 5. So let me show you what example real quick. Let me go to my Adobe. Let me go to my blank page. Where are you? Right there. What they like to do is this problem right here. And a lot of people get it wrong. Square root of some number squared is equal to 12. And they'll have A, B, C, D. And they'll have 12, 18, 64, and 144. And I can tell you, matter of fact, people go see this problem. They pick 144 and they go to the next problem. And they just got that problem wrong. What you have to understand, square and square root are inverse operations of each other. So this square root and this square cancel each other out. So you're just going to have this variable or this unknown left equal 12. So your answer is 12. It's basically like a trick question. They want you to know that they want to see if you know that square and square root are inverse operations and they cancel each other out. Easiest problem on exam. Less than 40% get it right. Easy problem. Gotta know it. All right, so make sure you know all your squares, your square roots, your cube, and your cube roots. Very important. Let's go to the next one. Okay, I like number 11. Oh, I skipped one. That's a high set question. Number 10 is a high set, so I'm gonna skip number 10. They don't really give you 3 ratios for the GED. So we're gonna skip number 11. We'll go to number 10, we'll go to number 11. What are the 2 solutions? Now, let me see if this is a multiple choice question. Let me see. Oops, that's the answer. Oops. All right, so it's not a multiple choice. Now, one thing you got to remember, I'll make up multiple choice for you. I'll make them up for you right quick. So A is 5 and 7. B is -5 and 7. C is 5 and -7. D is -5 and -7. So what are the 2 solutions to the equation x squared minus 2x minus 35 is equal to 0? This is almost another guaranteed type of problem on your exam. So I'm gonna set the timer. This is considered a medium to difficult problem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you 2 minutes for this one, 2.5 minutes for this one. And send your answer in the chat. Is it A, B, C, or D? Is it 5 and 7? Is it -5 and 7? Is it 5 and -7? Is it -5 and -7? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. First, I'm going to show you mathematically how you would do it. And then I'm going to show you the easy way using your calculator that you can figure this out in less than 15 seconds. I want you to pass this exam. All I need you to do is put time in practicing common algebra, 1-step, 2-step equations, and going over that eBook and learning how to use this calculator. I'll make this exam easy for you. You'll pass it. Okay, so number 11, what are the 2 solutions to the equation x squared minus 2x minus 35 is equal to 0? So Naomi sent her answer, and that is incorrect, but you are so close. It's not even funny. Because I know what you did. Let's see, but we'll see. So that is incorrect. And you sent the answer to everyone. Try to send it just to me.
Ooh.
That's all right.
Don't blurt the answer.
I didn't.
What is the 2 solutions to the equation x squared minus 2x minus 35 equals 0? And this one is considered medium to difficult. I'm going to show you how easy it is. Easy. Piece of cake. Wow, that was a fast 2.5 minutes, wasn't it? Wow.
Yeah.
That seemed like 30 seconds, didn't it? Now, let me ask you a question. Why am I timing you? Is it to make you flustered? Is it to make you nervous? Why am I timing you? Why am I giving you a 2.5 minutes or a specific time limit for each problem? Why am I doing it? So Jessica just answered. That is correct. Jessica, that is correct. The reason why I'm giving you time, because you need, on average, you have 120 minutes for 45 questions, from 40 to 45 questions. On average, that's 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes for each problem. You should be able to do each of these problems in 3 minutes. If you can't, flag it, skip it, flag it for review, come back to it.
I got disconnected, sorry.
All right, so let's do this. Let's do this problem. First of all, let's do this problem. X squared minus 2x minus 35 equals 0. So what I need to do is I need to go to that blank page first. So give me, let me go back to my blank page. What type of question is this? What type of equation is this? Does anybody know?
That's a standard.
Is it a linear?
Nope, not linear, nope.
Standard quadratic equation.
Yes, it's a standard quadratic equation. Now, Gary, how do you know that? Did you go to the University of Delaware? Did you go to MIT? Like you said that like it was so easy. Like, but other people did not answer that question. How do you know that this is a quadratic equation?
From the eBook.
No, not from the eBook, but why? What tells you that's a quadratic equation?
Because x is to the second power.
Yes, the highest degree of this equation is the second degree. That's what tells you this is a quadratic equation. So if you see any equation that has a raised power to the second power, it's a quadratic equation, okay? Anything, so they got p squared, m squared, d squared, it doesn't matter. And now, d to the third is not a quadratic equation, so the highest degree of that equation has to be 2. So this is a quadratic equation. What we also know is that the standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. This is the standard form of a quadratic equation. So I know right now you're sitting here like, Mr. Tinsley, oh my God, it's gonna take me months. No, it's not. Understand what equation means. It means equal. So if you need to solve an equation, I'm gonna show you how to do it right now. This is how you would manually do it. So the coefficient that's in front of that x is a 1. The coefficient in front of the x is a -2. The last variable we're looking for is -35. So A is 1, B is -2, C is -35. So to make it simple, what you're going to do is you want to find what pairs that you multiply that's going to give you -35. And when you combine them, you're going to get -2. So that's -35, a factor pair means 2. So we're going to have 1 times -35. We're going to have 5 times -7. That's the only 2 pairs that you can multiply together to get 35. 1 times 35 and 5 times 7. The only difference is, since we need a -35, only one of the numbers can be negative. So on the other side, we're going to switch those signs. So instead of +1, we're going to have -1 and 35. And then we're going to have -5 and +7. So that's the first step. First step was to identify A, B, and C. The second step was to factor C. The third step is to find which pair is going to give you B. So which pair is going to give me -2? 5 and -7. Because 5 plus or -7 is a -2. Or if you want to look at it, -7 plus 5 is a -2. So these 2 numbers will tell you how to factor this quadratic equation. We got a +5 and a -7. So x plus 5, x minus 7. This is how you factor the quadratic equation. So sometimes on the GED exam, they're going to ask you to factor the quadratic equation. In this case, they asked us to solve it. So what you have to remember is that this is equal to 0. The second thing you have to remember is that any number times 0 is 0. So the opposite of +5 is what?
-5.
-5. The opposite of -7 is what?
+7.
+7. So these are your two solutions to this quadratic equation. -5 and +7. Oh my God, Mr. Tinsley, my smoke is coming from my head. I gotta cook dinner. My kids is calling on me. Oh my God, this is so hard. Oh God, this don't make sense. Listen to what I'm telling you. If you learn how to use this calculator and learn what they're asking for, we just spent 5 minutes. I just spent 5 minutes explaining this problem. Watch me do it in 8 seconds. Watch this. I'm gonna show you something. Watch this. Let me erase it. And let me show you how we're going to do it if you're given the multiple choice. Watch this. You're going to sit there and be like, wow. Once you know what's an equation, if they're giving you multiple choice as the solutions, that means one of those multiple choice answers. Let me try to move these down. It's one of your answers. So let me move this. D and C. Watch this. You're gonna sit there and you're gonna be like, are you kidding me, Mr. Jeremy? Are you telling me it's this easy? Yes, I'm telling you this is this easy. If you keep telling yourself this test is so hard and you can't do it, guess what's gonna happen? You got to continue to give yourself positive thought. I'm giving you easy ways. I'm telling you guaranteed questions on your exam. I'm guaranteeing you're gonna see these problems. Watch this. I'm gonna grab this calculator. Watch how easy. Watch this. I'm literally gonna do this less than 30 seconds without doing any algebra, without doing any work, without even, watch this. Watch this. My first is 5 and 7. So I'm gonna store 5. 5 store X, enter. I'm gonna put it into this quadratic equation. X squared minus 2X minus 35 is equal to 0. So I must get 0. Do I get 0 when I put 5 in?
No.
No, I do not. Because I do not get a 0, I know 5 is not an answer. Therefore, I know it can be A because 5 is an answer in A. And I know it can be C because 5 is an answer in C. So I know right away, by just putting 5 into my calculator, I know it's not A, not C. Now, I'm going to do the same thing. Watch this. Minus 5 store X. Go. Now, I can type the formula again. X squared minus 2X minus 35. Do I get 0? Yes, I do. So I know -5 is an answer. Okay, now I'm going to try 7. 7 store X. Well, you know what? I don't feel like typing that expression in again. I'm going to use my up arrows, go back to my expression to its highlight. I'm going to press enter and press enter again. Do I get 0? Yes. I'm done. The answer is B. Done. I didn't do any work. I didn't combine any terms. I didn't find no factor pairs. I didn't find zeros. What I did was I used the answers because I know what an equation means. That means when I substitute that value in, I should get what's on the right side of that equal, which is 0. That easy. Guaranteed problem on your exam. Another guaranteed problem on your exam. Guaranteed. Okay? So let me save that. Let me clear it. And let's go back to our exam. Let's go here. Look at number 20. What, are you kidding me? Wow. Let me get the multiple choice first. Let me see. First of all, a lot of people look at these hard problems and they just get intimidated. Listen, what I'm trying to show you is, or demonstrate to you, don't get intimidated. If it look hard, skip that. Oops, oh, sorry. Skip that problem. Sorry. I apologize. I am so sorry. I apologize. I got a little carried away. Sorry. Sorry, I apologize. Matter of fact, I might have to go in and erase that part. All right. So let's look at this problem. Okay. And it says Nazario has $20 to spend on tacos and burritos for himself and family. Tacos cost 40 cents each. Burritos cost 80 cents each. If he buys at least one taco and at least one burrito and spends his $20, which equation represents how many tacos and Doritos he bought? Wow, so let's write that down. Let's understand what we got. So he got $20 to spend. The tacos cost 40 cents. The burritos, and I love burritos, by the way, cost 80 cents, right? So let me just increase the zoom on these answers. Because, oops, what's going on here? Let me increase the zoom on these answers so we can see them nice and clear. There we go, right there. These are the four answers. 1.20 times t plus b equal 20. 0.80 t plus 0.40 b equal 20. 80 b plus 40 t equal 20. Or 0.40 t plus 0.80 b equal 20. What option? What's the correct answer? A, B, C, or D? Choice 1, 2, 3, or 4. A, B, C, or D. So we can call this A, B, C, and D. Again, this looks like a hard problem. This is an easy problem. But what happens is a lot of the questions that have a lot of information, most of the time are the easiest questions. They're trying to see if you know how to extrapolate the important information from those word problems. So again, what do we extrapolate? First of all, he's going to spend all his $20. Tacos cost 40 cents. Burritos cost 80 cents. A, B, C, or D. Send to me in the chat. So Jessica, correct. Naomi, correct. So I'm waiting for Gary and Darlene and Jennifer. Is Jennifer still here? I'm not sure because for some reason it disappeared. You still here? I can't see everybody anymore. I don't know what just happened. So I apologize. So A, B, C, or D. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk you through the common sense way to figure this out. And you're gonna be like, that's it. Look at listen, this is what I need you to do. When you're taking this test, if it looks difficult, if it looks too hard, this is the most important thing I can tell you. Flag it, skip it, and flag it for review. If you think it's gonna take you longer than 2 minutes, flag it for review and skip it.
Okay.
I'm telling you, your most important things you want to finish this exam. You want to see all the easy and medium problems. There's 28 easy and medium problems. You basically, if you answered all the easy and medium ones correctly, you could pass your exam without even doing one difficult problem. Now, I'm not telling you to do that. Don't leave anything blank. But that's the logistics. So, I didn't set the timer. All right, about 30. I'm gonna give you about 30 more seconds. Gary, you are correct. Now, so I'm gonna say time is up. Now, we all have children who love tacos, right? We love tacos. Well, I know my kids used to love tacos, not anymore, but they used to. And tacos cost 40 cents, right? So if I wanted to know how much 10 tacos cost, I'm just making this number up. How much does 10 tacos cost?
$10 times 40.
And 20?
10 times 40?
$0.40.
10 times 40 cents.
$4.
Right? Well, we don't know how many we're going to buy. So that's a variable. And we're going to call that T. So we got 0.40 T. Right there. Not A, not B, not C. We didn't do any work. We're done. Look at that. By just understanding what they're giving you, 40 cents is 0.40 times the number of tacos, which we're going to call T. There's only one multiple choice that got 0.40 T. This one got 40 T. This one got 0.80 T. This problem that looked difficult is one of the easiest problems on the test. But you got to identify what is given. It's very important as you're doing this at home. Identify what's given, identify what they want. Then these problems, what you'll start noticing is, man, 2 of these multiple choice I can get rid of right away. So even if I don't know how to do it, I can get rid of these 2 right away. Well, in this case, I got rid of 3 right away. I know my answer, 15 seconds. So now, but the same thing is the same thing for burritos, 0.80 times B. And since I'm spending all of it, it's equal to 20. If this was an inequality, if they wanted you to make an inequality, this would be less than or equal to 20. That's the only difference from an equation. If they ask you for the equation, and if they ask you for the inequality, equality would be less than or equal to 20. What does that mean? Because I don't have more than $20 to spend. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Very good. All right, let's try. Let me see. Let me try the next one. I'm already went past the time. Oh Lord, look at 13. Right away, I would tell you 13, skip it. I would tell you skip it, flag it for review. I'm just, that would be my personal opinion. Now, how would you do it? I'm actually going to do the problem. We're going to actually do 14 and 15 before we leave tonight. Watch this. The fine for speeding is based on a formula. 55 plus 10 times, in parentheses, S minus 60, where F is the fine that a person will receive for driving S miles per hour. If Tamara was fined, so that means they're giving you F. How fast was she driving? So they want to solve, they want you to solve for S. So let me write this down. F equal 55 plus 10 times S minus 60. And then the fine, F, is equal to 375. Because what I want to show you is, even though this looks like a very difficult problem, and even though I told you when you read this to skip it, why? Because most people are going to spend 3, 4, 5 minutes on this problem. I wouldn't waste the time on this problem. I would skip it, and then after I finish the test, come back to these type of problems. But let me actually do this problem for you. Again, you identify what you know. So they gave us a formula. You identify what they gave us. They told us the fine, which was F, was 375, and they want to solve for S. So how can we solve this equation for S? So first of all, what we're going to do is we have 2 terms on this side of the equation. We have 55, and we got this one big term. So the first thing we're going to do is subtract 55. Whatever we do to one side, we're going to do the other. Now, I put this under here, but these are not like terms. So we're going to have F minus 55 is equal to, these 55s will cancel, 10 times S minus 60. Okay, we still need to get the S by itself. This means 10 being multiplied by S minus 60. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide by 10. Whatever we do on one side, we do on the other. 10s cancel. We're going to get F minus 55. I don't know what's wrong on my internet. Divided by 10 is equal to S minus 60. Again, S is not by itself. In order to get S by itself, we're going to get a minus 60. That's plus 60. Now, we can't combine it with this. Why? Because this is not a like term. This is being divided by 10. This is something different. So let me move this over real quick. Let me move this equal sign over. Oh, move it a little bit closer. We're going to add 60 to both sides. Okay, so our new formula is S. That's how you would solve it. Listen, You know how many problems, how many people gonna have problems with solving this? I'm already telling you. You're gonna have problems with it. Skip it, flag it for review, come to it. But watch this. I'm gonna show you something that's important. Watch this. Let me save it. And let me clear it. I actually don't want to clear it. Let me erase everything else. But I want to show you something again. If they give you multiple choice, plug them in. It's not even worth doing all the algebra. Just plug them in. Watch this. Let me see what answers they have. I mean, see what multiple choice. Okay, 33, 85, 89, 92. Okay. Go back to the blank page real quick. Watch this. Oops, matter of fact, watch this. Oops, where is it at? There we go. Move it up. Let me move this up. Right? Let me go back to here. And let's use that original formula that they gave us. Because I really want to show you, like, listen, they are really scaring people. 55 plus 10 times s minus 60. It's no reason for you to get scared. Even though I told you, skip this problem. It is a hard problem. Watch this. You know the multiple choice. Grab your calculator. Matter of fact, oops, I gotta make some more room. Hold on, let me move this over here. I'm gonna show you how easy this problem is if you know what an equation is. Equation means we're solving. That means one of those multiple choices are your answers. So what we're gonna do is the first answer we're gonna use is 33. So watch this, 55 plus 10 times in parentheses, 33 minus 60. Well, 33 minus 60 is gonna give you a negative number. So we know it's not 33 right from the doors. Right from the doors, we know it can't be 33. Why? First of all, 33 not speeding. Okay, so let's go back. Instead of 33, let's use our second option, 85 minus 60, close our parentheses. Oops, that's not 60. What did I type? Minus 60. I don't know what's wrong with I'm sorry, my internet, my buttons, it's just really acting weird tonight. 60, close your parentheses. All we did was substitute each of these answers into our formula. And all we got to know is our fine is 375. So all we're going to do is check each one of these until we get 375. We're going to hit enter. Oops. Enter. What, I got 55, 50. What is going on? All right, let me clear up. Start all over again. 55 plus 55 plus 10 parentheses. First one is 85 minus 60 in parentheses. We're going to hit enter. Did we get 375?
No.
No. So we know it's not 85. Watch this. I'm going to go back into the formula that I just wrote. Use my arrows. And now I'm going to change 85 to 89. I'm going to press enter. Do I get 375?
No.
No. So I'm going to go back into my formula. Press enter. I'm going to change that 89 to 92. We did no algebra. On a problem I told you to skip because it's hard algebraically. But if they give you the answers, plug them in. Ain't that a commercial? Plug it in, plug it in. Listen, the biggest mistake you're going to make is to get yourself nervous. Because what happens is you get so anxious on this exam. Oh my God, I've been studying this long. Oh my God, if I fail, I can't get a promotion. Oh my God, I'm gonna get fired. Oh God, I charged fired. No. You take a deep breath. What do I know? Okay, I got my formula, 55 plus 10 times s minus 60, where the s is the miles per hour. Okay, well, in the multiple choice, they give me 4 different miles per hour. So you know what? I can plug them in until I see the fine for 375. That's no algebra. That's no simplification. That's no work at all. Not at all. Now, another way you could, let me take a screenshot so you'll see it. Another way you could have done it is, again, how we did it before. Okay, instead of using S, I'm gonna use X. So I'm gonna say 85 store X. And remember, you can use any variable you want, 55 plus 10 times X minus 60. I just changed the variable from S to X, right? So I put 85 in, did I get 375? No, okay. 89 store X. Enter, go back up to my formula again, hit enter. Do I get 375? No, I don't. You know what? X is 92. 92 store X. Enter, go back up to my formula, press enter. Do I get 375? Yes, I do. Bam. That's no algebra. That's no work. That's less than a minute. So again, if you know it's an equation, quadratic equation, linear equation, they're giving you multiple choice. One of the answers are there. In this case, to me, it's much easier just to substitute the answers in until you get to 375. Why? Because they gave you the formula. That's the thing you have to remember. When you're looking at that question, oops, I'm still in here. When you're looking at this question, they're saying F equal, or F stands for the find, or find is 375. So right here, it's telling you. So taking this formula right here, 55 plus 10 times S minus 60, and that's equal to 375. So whatever you put as S, it has to be equal to 375. So each time we put one of the multiple choice in, we know we're looking for the answer 375. We keep putting them in until we know the answer, until we get 375. And that question is done. And this question is considered a difficult problem. Okay, watch this. Let's do the last two, and then we're gonna call it a night. Which of the following functions represents a line that is parallel to a line with the equation y equals 3x minus 4? So I'm gonna make the multiple choice up. Y equals 3x and dy equal negative 3x plus 10. Now, listen to what I'm trying to tell you right here. This may be the easiest problem on the exam, but you gotta know what you're looking for. First of all, can somebody tell me what is parallel lines?
Equal to.
Two lines that what?
That are. What is it?
The same.
No, they're not the same.
They run along the same.
Okay, I'm gonna let you know. So now this is what you make sure you write down. This is very important. Parallel lines are two lines that will never cross. Parallel lines are two lines that will never intersect.
Okay.
I didn't say sometimes, I didn't say eventually. I said that will never intersect or cross. Because we know they will never cross, what that tells us is that they have the same exact slope. So the slopes are the same. Now, how do I find the slope from this equation? Y equal mx plus b. What's the slope of this equation?
-3.
-3, because whatever's in front of the x is your slope. So your slope is -3. So what we're looking for, since we're looking for a line that's parallel, we're looking for a line that has the slope of -3, which is the only option that has a slope of -3.
Choice D.
See,
That easy. Easiest question on the exam. Easiest question on the exam.
Oh,
Parallel lines have the same slope. Okay.
Oh, perpendicular lines.
Okay. A wonderful question. I'm glad you said that. So let me go to my blank page. Where's my blank page? Where did you go? Did I just close you up? No, I didn't. There you go. Okay. So first of all, parallel lines will never cross. So for example, let me change this again. So if I had y, oh my goodness, Jeremy, y equal 2x plus 3. So what I want you to remember is y equal mx plus b. This is your best friend. Better know it. So my slope of this line is what?
2.
2. The slope of any line that's parallel to this line is also what?
2.
2. So because parallel lines have the same slope. Now, the slope of the perpendicular, the slope of a perpendicular line, it's hard writing with this pen with this lagging internet, is the negative inverse. How do I know that? Where did I just come from? I don't just because Mr. Tinsley told me, it's because the definition of a perpendicular line are two lines that when they cross, they form a 90-degree or right angle. This is why buildings, tables, all have that L. Because if you had it at an angle, you would have more pressure on a foundation. This is why you always build on perpendicular foundations. Okay? So what does the negative inverse mean? Well, I'm going to give it to you in layman's terms. Change the sign, flip it. Let me write that down. So the negative inverse, change the sign and flip it. So if the slope is positive 2,
It'd be
what's the
negative 2.
opposite of positive?
Negative 2.
Negative.
Negative 2.
Not negative 2. We're
Negative
only
1.
taking
Yeah.
the opposite sign. Now, 2 is the same as 2 over 1. So when I say flip it, that means take the reciprocal. The numerator becomes the denominator, the denominator becomes the numerator. So the slope of the perpendicular is not going to be negative 2. It's going to be negative what?
1 over 2.
1 over 2. So again, parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines, to find the slope of a perpendicular line is the negative inverse. Change the sign, flip it. So let me just do some examples real quick. I'm sorry, because I want to do that real quick. So if I have, I'm just going to make some equations up. Y equal minus 2/3 x plus 9. What's the slope of this line?
Negative 2/3.
Negative 2/3. What's the slope of a line that's parallel to this line?
Negative 2/3.
Negative 2/3. What's the slope of a line that's perpendicular to that line?
3 over 2.
3 over 2. Because the negative becomes positive, then you flip 3 over 2. That's it. So what they've been doing, they've been giving you stuff like this. Watch this. Y equal minus 1/6x plus 9. What's the slope of this line?
Negative 1/6.
Negative 1/6. What is the slope of a line that's parallel to this line?
6 over 1.
Let me say it slow.
Negative
What's the
1/6.
slope of a parallel line?
Negative 1/6.
Negative
Negative
1/6.
1/6. Because parallel lines have the same slope. And what's the slope of a line that's perpendicular to
6
this
over
line?
1. 6 over 1.
6 over 1. Negative becomes positive. 6 over 1 is the same as 6. So an example of these, an example of each one of these, if the slope is the same, which is parallel, that equation is going to look like this. Let me change it to red. The equation is going to look like this. Y equal minus 1/6x plus 5. y equal minus 1/6x minus 3. These are all parallel because they have the same slope. So a lot of times you can just go to the multiple choice. When they ask you for that parallel line, you're just looking for the line with the same slope. Now, an equation that's perpendicular, y equal 6x. We don't know the y-intercept because we don't know what point, but we know it's going to start with y equals 6x. Why? Because the slope is 6. And when we remember, y equal mx plus b. All we're doing is taking this 6, putting it right there. Y equals 6x. We don't know the y-intercept yet, but we know it would start with y equals 6x. And usually it's only one equation that's going to start like that. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Yes.
This was a very good session. Even though we didn't go over one specific concept, to be able to touch so many types of problems that are going to be on the exam is actually very good. Any questions before we leave?
How many questions of geometry is on there?
Let's see. You're probably going to have an area and a perimeter of a rectangle. You're going to have area or circumference of a circle. You're going to have volume of a rectangular prism. You're probably going to have a volume of a cylinder or a cone. And then you're probably going to have Pythagorean theorem, the missing side of a right triangle, and surface area. So you're probably going to have 6 to 7 questions that have to do with geometry. I'm glad you asked that real quick. Let me just show you the most missed questions. I know I keep showing it, but it's very important for you to know if it's the most missed question, that means you're going to see it. So right there, compute the area and circumference of circles, find the radius or diameter of a circle when given the area or circumference. Compute the perimeter, find sine lengths of a polygon when given the perimeter area. So look at all these. That's geometry. That's it. So they're not one of the most missed questions, but I can tell you're gonna have area, perimeter of a rectangle, area and circumference of a circle, and then you usually have 1 or 2 volume problems, and then you usually have a surface area problem, and you always have a Pythagorean theorem problem. So let me write that down because these you're going to see these.
Thank you.
The guaranteed area, perimeter of a rectangle. You might see one, or you might see the other. You might see both. Area and circumference. These are guaranteed every single exam. Of a circle. Okay? Guaranteed. They're going to have volume. Usually they have a rectangular prism. And then one other one. For example, they might have a cylinder. They might have a cone. Or they might have a sphere. Sometimes, matter of fact, let me put them all down. They might have a pyramid also. But usually it's one is a rectangular prism. The other volume they ask you is either a cylinder, cone, sphere, or pyramid. Surface area. They usually ask you one. And they usually ask you either of a cylinder or a rectangle. And then the last one, I ran out of room. Let me move this all up. The last one, these are guaranteed. Like these are guaranteed on your exam. The last one that has to do with, I would say geometry is Pythagorean theorem. Or let me say triangles. And let me say area of a triangle and Pythagorean theorem. Sorry about my guaranteed on your exam. These are guaranteed questions. Because when you finish your exam, and this is why when I have these sessions, it's not that I could go over every single concept. It takes too long. It takes months. You don't have months. What I'm giving you, what I'm telling you, is these questions, the ones we're going over, you are guaranteed to see. Guaranteed. You're going to see them. Guaranteed. And when you leave the test, now, if you learn how to use this calculator, you'll finish 30, 40 minutes early. And I don't care what state you are. Before you take your exam, call and get my number. because you're gonna be calling me when you get that exam because I need to know. You ain't gonna have me nervous all day whether you passed or not. So you're gonna call me when you leave that exam. All right, so any questions before we leave this evening? Okay, I'm gonna send you the screenshots. I'm gonna send you the video of most people. Now, what I'm also going to do from now on is if you purchase the ebook, I'm going to start uploading all these sessions to YouTube, but it's only you. They won't be open to the public. They'll only be open if you come to these sessions, you bought the ebook, if you're involved with GED Math in 30 days. So even though they'll be on YouTube, you'll have a private link that you can see each. So you can go back, and what I'm going to start doing is whatever we go over that day, I'm going to put that in the title. So it might be volume today. So you know exactly, okay, this is the session we went to on this date, and we went over volume. And I'll have those concepts in. And then what happens is, see, when I put on YouTube, instead of you just having to look through the whole hour and a half video, I can put chapters in, and you can go to specifically what you want. So I'm gonna start that with probably by next Monday.
Thank you.
Okay. So everyone have a good evening. If you have any questions, email me, text me, send a picture. Don't wait till next week if you get stuck.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Gary, stay on for 1 second.
Okay.
A couple of problems that you had wrong were expressions, evaluating expressions. Okay.
Right.
So they'll say something like, let me show you what, and I know you know how to do them. So they'll have something like this. Not that one. That is an expression, but I want a nice simple one because the ones you got were getting wrong. You got like 3 or 4 of them wrong. But guess the ones you got wrong, if you get them right, it would put you right in that passing range because you had about a 40. You want to get up to about 60, 65.
Okay.
Okay. So right here. Okay. So this is the expression. This is where they define the variables. H is hours, C is cans. This is where they tell you what those variables are equal to. So C is 3 because you got 3 cans. H is 15. You got 15 hours you worked. So you just run to your calculator and you put that expression in. Now you can either store your variables or just write it in. 35 times H. Well, H is 15 plus 30 times C. C is 3. Press enter, you get your 615. Okay. Another way you could have done it real quick is this. Same way, but instead of H and C, I'm gonna use X and Y. So I'm gonna call this X. I'm gonna call this Y. So 35X plus 30Y. My X is 15. My Y is 3. So I'm gonna say 15 store X, 3 store Y, and then I'm gonna plug it in. 35X plus 30Y. Still get the same thing.
Right.
So that's what I need you to learn how to do because you got 4 or 5 of those incorrect.
Right.
So learn how to store them variables, evaluate algebraic expressions, and also evaluating functions. All right.
Okay, let me ask you, so now, can you go to question number 24?
Well, let me stop the recording real quick.
Okay.
Hold on. Where did it go? My thing disappeared. There we go. Let me just start the record. I guess it don't matter. They just had to write some extra stuff. It don't matter. All right, let me go here. You said number 24.
Yes.
What does it start with? Because they randomly.
Carl is designing an all glass display case.
Carl, see?
Surface area. It's a
Okay.
surface. Yeah.
Okay. Say right here, what you're going to do is identify, Carl designed an all glass display case for a museum. In order to fit the constants, the case must measure 4 feet high, 3 feet wide, and 6 feet long. What is the total surface area of a glass Carl needs for display? So what you're going to do is, again, use your formula in your calculator. So you can go to your formula sheet. Let me find it real quick. All right, that's the time taking a minute. Where's my formula sheet? Did I erase it? There we go, right there. So you can go to your formula sheet. You're looking for a surface area of a rectangular prism. So if you look here, it says SA is equal to P times H plus 2 times base. That's what, I never seen that formula before, but they tell you right here, P is the perimeter of the base, B is the area of the base. So that's important for you to understand. So the P stands for perimeter of the base, capital B stands for the area of the base. So now we're gonna go back to that problem. And now it's easy. So that base, remember the height, so the base is 3 foot wide in length. So the base is 3 by 6. So the perimeter of the base, so we got 18. So remember, matter of fact, let me write it down so you can follow right through. So surface area is equal to the perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. So SA equal, the perimeter of the base is 9 times 2, which is 18. The height is 4 plus 2 times the area of the base. 6 times 3 is 18. Then you just take, now me, I would have just started with my calculator right when I saw that formula, because they gave you everything you need to know. So 18 times 4 plus 2 times 18. So identify what's given, identify the formula, identify what they want you to know. So by knowing they want the surface area, you go to that formula sheet and you get the formula. That P stands for, what's important though, perimeter is the perimeter of the base. The capital B is the area of the base. And then you just plug everything in. It's an easy problem.
Right. And I got just one more.
Mm-hmm.
Question 15. That's
What does it start with? What is this?
It's the following system of equations could be used to determine Jose's age. J and Francisco's age F.
All right.
Yeah.
First of all, let me see what the answers are first. I'm gonna show you manually how to do it, but then I'm gonna show you how to do it with the answers. I don't know if if I even have the answer. Yes, I do. 7, 9, 11, 7, 9, 11, and 13. Watch this. Listen, like I told you, 7, 9, 11, and 13. Remember, what it's telling you is that, oops, let me make this a little smaller here. That's Jose's age, right? It says what this is could be Jose's age and Franco's age. Well, first, how old is Jose? So Jose is 7, 9, 11, or 13. So this is all Jose. So you understand what it is. So this is the possibilities of Jose. What they're telling you is both their ages equal 18. So if Jose is 7, that means Franco is 11. You understand that?
Right.
If he's 9, then he's also 9. If he's 11, Franco is 7. If he's 13, Franco was 5. That's because here, Jose plus Franco equal 18. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Now, just plug them in. This is the easiest way to do it. So you got that formula right there. J is equal to. So Jose is equal to 2 times whatever Franco's age is minus 3. So 2 times 11 minus 3. Is that equal to 7? Oops. Minus 3. Is that equal to 7?
No.
No. 2 times 9 minus 3. Is that equal to 9?
No.
No. 2 times 7 minus 3. Is that equal to 11?
Yes.
Yeah, so right away, without doing any algebra, we figured out the answer. Jose is 11, Franco is 7. Now, let me show you how to do it mathematically. Okay?
Okay.
So, now, we know J is 2F minus 3. So instead of J, we're going to plug that in right there. So we're going to get 2F minus 3 plus F is equal to 18. The whole purpose of system of equations, you want to get rid of one of the variables. So we combine like terms, we get 3F minus 3 equal 18. Add 3 to both sides. We get 3F, 3's cancel, equal 21. Divide both sides by 3. You get Franco is 7. But they want to know Jose. So we got to plug this back in. So J plus F equal 18. So J plus 7 equal 18. Minus 7 on both sides. J equal 11. That's how you do it mathematically.
Right.
To me, the easiest way to plug those numbers in till you get your right answer. So go to the simple equation that you can figure out easy. Because these are your ages for Jose. You know both their ages are going to be 18. So that's why I made that chart. 7 and 11, 9 and 9, 11 and 7. Then you make sure that when you substitute those values into both equations, they hold up and they're true. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Got me?
I knew it was. Yeah. I knew you had a better way.
Always, man. That's the problem, because most people would just try to do a system of equations. System of equations is a 5-minute problem. It's too long. To me, okay, well, I know if he's 7, and I know both their ages is 18, that's 7 and 11, 9 and 9, 11 and 7, 13 and 5. This is Jose, this is Franco. So I already know they satisfy this second equation, because 7, 11, 9 and 9, 11, 7, 13, 5 all make 18. So I already know they satisfy the second equation. How you solve a system of equations is that your solutions must solve both of the equations. So now I'm just going to plug them in. 2 times F. So 2 times 11 minus 3 got to equal 7. It wasn't. 2, so that's what I did over here. Let me change the red. So I just plugged those numbers in. I plugged that 11, 9, and 7 until I got Jose's age. So when I got this 11 here, and I got the 11 here, I knew it was this third choice.
Right.
So I knew right away that here, this was Jose was 11, that's Franco was 7, right there. And both of them hold true. That's the easiest way to do it.
Yes,
All that
it is.
system of equations, you see how long that took me.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
You have a good night.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks, Mr. Tinsley.
You're welcome.